us again, another episode of the Thurso Show. It's been a few weeks since we did one, but we are making a commitment. We're saying it out loud. We're going to give you at least a monthly update on everything that we're up to, what's coming up and what's happening the month previous and what's coming up in the next month. So tonight we have a big long list to update you on, and we've written it down because we'll probably forget otherwise.
Yeah. And we also thought that we've got quite a lot to update on, because anytime we've been doing a wee Thurso show lately, it's not been the same like what when we did in lockdown, where you got the full news every week. We've had lots and lots of stuff that's been ongoing, and we've only really done kind of like when we've got special things to sort of talk about. But actually there's quite a lot of stuff that's going on in the background. It can be confusing, all the work that the Trust is doing, all the different organisations, all the different things that are going on. So yeah, we're going to commit to once a month, we're going to do this. We've got an idea for other little things that we can do in between to discuss things in a bit more depth. Podcasting, that's a new thing, maybe, coming soon. So yeah, we thought we'd do a great big roundup.
Yeah, so just in case anybody is new to our YouTube channel or our social media, I'm Marion Reid and I am a board member with Thurso Community Development Trust, and I'm joined by Joan Laurie, who is the development manager for Thurso and for the Thurso Development Trust. So we will just kick things off, and I don't know how well you can see it in the screen there, but number one on our list is an update on Rotterdam Street, and that's where we are right now. So in the old Jesse Allen's, Temptations, whatever you know it as, we're here in Thurso High Street. We have our shop space on the bottom floor and our offices on the second floor and a bunch of storage on the third floor. We have been here a few months now. So Joan, can you give us just an update on what's going on here in Rotterdam Street?
So we initially decided to lease the building, and we are still currently leasing the building, but we've decided to start to make a move to buy the building. We really like being here. We really think that no matter where else there might be community spaces in Thurso, and we know that we're in dire need of more community spaces and a community hub type building, we would still always want to have a presence in the town centre. It's important for the town in terms of keeping our town centre vibrant, in terms of tourism, all of those things. So no matter what we do, we're always going to want to have a town centre presence. And even if we weren't to use this space any longer, we feel that there's other community organisations in the town that would use it. Plus, taking it into the hands of the community means that this building will get taken care of and will get looked after, rather than going to potentially a landlord. So that's what we are currently looking to do. We have got a stage 1 funding application in with the Scottish Land Fund, and that will be looking at, under that we need to do everything that we need to do to assess the building in order to be able to buy it. So one of the key things actually is accessibility for the building. It's on 3 floors, just as Marion mentioned. How could we actually make it more accessible if we were to buy it? And also the thing that is on everybody's minds at the moment, how do we make it a more energy efficient building as well? So that's what we're looking to do just now with Rotterdam Street.
So we'll keep you updated as best we can. But I guess it's just another one of these ways in which we want to show our commitment to the community of Thurso by making sure that we have a home in the high street to kind of welcome everybody as best as we can. So number 2 on our list is the waste project. What we doing with waste, Joan?
Okay, we're going to be reducing waste and reducing consumption. We are working, this has been on the go for quite a long time, but we're finally able to announce it a little bit more, and we've got our staff member in place, so you might have seen the job having been advertised. So we are part of the Highland Community Waste Partnership, which is a collaboration of 9 organisations. So it's 8 community-based organisations like ourselves throughout Highland. So Lochaber Environmental Group, Velocity Cafe in Inverness, our very dear friends at Lairg Learning Centre, and a host of other organisations, Highland Good Food Partnership, working with Keep Scotland Beautiful, and it's been funded by the National Lottery for 3 years, and it's a project which will look at reducing waste and reducing consumption. So trying all sorts of different ways to be able to do that, from setting up a repair cafe, doing swishing events, which Marion and Zoe have actually been talking about. So I should also add as well is that our staff members, a not so new face, who's going to be heading up the waste project. It's Zoe, who's been our community development officer until now. She is changing positions to be our waste officer. Well, actually, she's a climate development officer. That's what she is. So we'll be looking at all sorts of things. We'd like to see the cafes and the takeaways maybe not using disposables, using using reusables. All sorts of different things that's going to be happening under that waste project. And it's a really good thing that it's there for 3 years, which means it's a really good way for us to get in there and working with all these other partners as well. We'll see what experiences they have, and so different ways of doing things could work differently in our community. And
it also allows us to amplify one of our values as the development trust. If you jump onto our website, the values that there are listed, and just one of them is about being climate conscious, reducing waste wherever we can. So this project really stood out to us as one we really want to get our teeth into. So for the next 3 years, we'll be getting involved in that with Zoe, and I'm sure we'll have lots more to come.
I think it's one of the things as well is when we talk about climate change to anybody, one of the first things that people start to talk about is waste. So to be able to finally really tackle that and have a specific project for it, and it kind of helps to tie a lot of our projects together as well.
Leading on to then the Caithness Asset Bank. Joan, can you just give us a round of what that is, how people can use it, who can use it, what's the situation?
So for the last 6 months, we've been working on a project. So Zoe and Richard have been working on a project that's been funded by High and the Scottish Government through the Communities Recovery Fund. So this was a collaborative project that we were doing across Caithness, and there was 2 strands to it. One was to get more activities out into rural villages, so that things weren't just centred in the towns of Thurso and Wick, and to help the village halls to reopen. And Caithness Voluntary Group did a great job in helping a lot of the village halls to get reopened as well after COVID. So, but the other strand of this work was forming this Caithness Asset Bank. So it's now going to be listed. If you look at our list, we've got further down, we've got a new website, so we'll come on to it. So all of these items are now going to be listed on our website, and there's a link to, there is an existing asset bank in Caithness, which Foundation Scotland, lovely Ailey Call, had operated, where there's some items and things that are on there, maybe more for event purposes, that community groups have been funded via some of the wind farms, and so that part of their criteria is that they allow for other community groups to use it. So this asset bank that we've done, it's complementing what's there. It's also pulling together lots of the other equipment that exists throughout the county. So for example, we already had 16 gazebos that we use for our community market. We only use those gazebos one Saturday a month. They're available to whoever needs to use them. Don't go and bother hiring a gazebo or feeling like you need to stick out the invariable Facebook post, does anybody got a gazebo I can borrow? Just come and speak to us, and you can borrow it free of charge. We'll ask you to sign a wee form to make sure that the insurance is covered, but it's free of charge, and you don't have to bother about going and getting it from anywhere else. So what we've been working on over the past 6 months is supplementing all of that things into this asset bank. So we've got things like event kits, we've got vlogging cameras, we've got laminators, we've got trolleys, we've got recycling bins, we've got anything and everything that you could possibly think of that you might need to do either community engagement or to run an event in Caithness. And everything's listed. Some of it is held by us, some of it is held by other groups. And if you are a group that has some assets that you would like to be able to make available to the rest of the community, then let us know and we can add it on there. And it's a very simple, we need to use a PA. Okay, Thurso Community Development Trust have got the PA in their store. We just need to send Joan an email and we can access that PA. Great. Or it might be, I need a gazebo, and Caithness Community Connections have got that. So I just need to send Heather or Claire an email to be able to use that. So that's what it's there for.
And is that then for fellow community organisations, or can individuals use it, or is it just for organisations? Anybody
can use it. If you've got a use for it, then yes. But you will have to, like, obviously each different group is going to have their own arrangements. So I think for the trust, like, we're not going to have an issue with an individual using it, but we will ask you to sign a wee form to say that you've got it and things like that. And we would ask that any breakages are kind of paid for or covered. But yeah, it's for the community there to use.
And it's similar, I guess. We have the sharing shed, which is about food waste reduction, but it is exactly the same idea, as we are sharing our assets with the community. And we look forward to helping the Thurso Park Run, celebrate their 4th anniversary this weekend, because we are lending a couple of gazebos and I think that awesome tables, youth club, I'm not sure, but we are helping them out this weekend. So if you need anything, just get in touch. Joan, is that your email?
No, it'll be the info email address, or I might set up an email address for it. We're still in the last minutes of doing the website, so there will be an email address that's on there. But yeah, I mean, both of us come from we're well Kent faces, so you know that we were in Caithness Horizons for years, and do you know how many times we used to have to go, who's got this, who's got that, can we borrow this, can we borrow that, put out Facebook appeals. This is the idea, is that it kind of stops that, and actually you know where the stuff is and you can plan events around it, and that is building capacity within the community, because that means that we should be able to put on, you don't have the same barriers to put in an event. If you're a little community group and you've got a great idea for an event, but the thing that's stopping you from doing it is that you don't have a gazebo or you don't have a PA to do it, then now you do.
And the good thing as well is that the equipment that we are storing at the moment is all of good quality. As we all know, before, gazebos get stored in garages and then they're torn and never fixed and that sort of thing. This will be regulated. Damages, we would hope that people would help us to fix those things, all of that sorts of stuff. So it's quality products that are available for the community.
Yeah.
So now we are, look at that, we are on to the sharing shed. You would think we planned this list. So the sharing shed extended opening, tell us about that, John.
So we now have the sharing shed open on a Sunday. One of the main reasons being is that we get our co-op pickups on a Friday and Saturday night. So there's usually quite a lot of food there, which stocks up the fridge and stocks up the freezer. So we want to be able to share it. We are also starting to forge links with local businesses. So the lovely Jackie at Johnston's, we have now arranged that we're doing a pickup of any excess food that they might have to be able to go into the sharing shed. If there are any other local businesses that would like to contribute, then please get in touch with us. I'll put an email address in the post somewhere for Anne that you can get in touch if you're looking to donate anything for the sharing shed. And that all helps us to deal with food waste. Let's not see any food going into landfill in Caithness for many businesses. Let's get it into that sharing shed and let's get it redistributed. The sharing shed is all about food waste, but also we know that these are really trying times at the moment in terms of energy costs. There's a lot of work that's going on across the county via the Caithness Poverty Action Group, and we really want to see any food that might otherwise be going to waste, save yourselves a few pounds to go and get it from the sharing shed.
And because we are working with local businesses more and more, we're actually looking for some more volunteers. So if anybody is available to support us with collecting food which would otherwise go to waste and popping it over to the shed, maybe a half hour of your time, once a week, once a month, whatever you can spare, we would love to hear from you. And one of the available pickups is from Johnston's. Now, I'm not saying there will be pies, but there might be. So if you enjoy a pie, give us a shout. Next on our list is the We Want Festival.
Yeah, so the We Want Festival is running from the 25th of April to the 30th of April. So the festival is all about women's health. So it's for women, it's for people who identify as women, it's for the men who support women. And it is all about just growing some awareness of women's health. It's something that we don't talk terribly much about. And yet, actually, when you find, if you start opening up and talking about things like your periods and things like that, there's usually a woman in the room who's experienced exactly the same thing as you. But we just don't talk about it enough. Women are also more susceptible to things like, not maybe more susceptible, but things like heart disease can manifest itself in different ways for women. We don't have the same usual kind of symptoms as men, even when it comes to having a heart attack. So there's a lot of awareness to do with that. So there's a fringe festival events, which includes, I believe, film nights, a menopause cafe. We're working really, really closely with Kirsty Campbell, who some of you might know from Let's Get On With It Together, or Lego It. who is now actually the Scottish coordinator for Endometriosis UK. So Kirstine brings with her a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of speakers, a wealth of groups that are coming up on the 30th of April for the main festival event over at the tennis courts, where we'll have our gazebos out, another reoccurring theme. But yeah, there's a whole host of events leading up to it. They're all going onto the website this week, culminating, and so there's the Saturday, which is the Grand Festival Day, and we're also having a Ceilidh in the Pentland, courtesy of Andrew, actually at the Pentland, is sponsoring us for that event, so that's great.
Cool. So next on the list is the Empower Her programme.
Okay, so
tell us about that.
Empower Her is quite related to the We Want Festival. So the We Want Festival is for women and those who identify as women of any age. Empower Her is a wee while ago during community consultation, we really picked up on the fact that there's a lot of young women who can maybe fall into not so healthy behaviours because they don't feel empowered enough when they're young. So they don't find their tribe. Things like, I mean, it's something that probably happened to me, myself, a little bit, was that all of my friends went off to university as we left school, and I didn't, and I stayed here, and I had to try and find new friends. So there can be that kind of sticking gap where people maybe lose their tribe, and they don't always feel like there's so many influences on young women these days that can affect their self-esteem. So the Empower Her group is really all about that. It's about empowering young women. So it's for young women currently aged 15 to 25. And Zoe's doing a whole host of different activities. It's on once a fortnight. So there's one coming up this Thursday, and then there'll be one in another 2 weeks. And all sorts of activities, from doing crafting to talking about periods to talking about things to do with self-esteem, to learning how to budget, learning how to cook, all sorts of different things. It's really led by the group, but we have it in this lovely cosy space. It's nice and confidential and things like that, and we'd really encourage any young women in the area who would like to come along to it.
Cool. Next up is the new website, which we have been working on. So that will launch. Shall we stick a date on it?
No, let's be a little bit more flexible than that.
Soon.
It's coming, yeah. Maybe not all of it will be there, but yeah, it'll be by the end of the week. There'll be something there by the end of the week.
Yeah. So we've been working on the website because, as you can see, this list is huge. The amount of activities that we're working on, the amount of information that we want to get out to the community, to our fellow community groups, to stakeholders, it's a lot. So the website really needs to work for us and house all that information and make it easily accessible to you guys. So that's what we've been working on, and it will be ready soon.
Yes. And to be fair, also, one of the main reasons is the website's been a bit of a boorer since COVID, when we decided we were deleting everything off it and just having COVID stuff on it. And we were meant to hide things, and Joan deleted stuff. So that's why Joan is sitting redoing the website.
Next up is the Harbour Toilets. So they are back open, have been since the spring soaking a couple of weeks ago. We are looking for more volunteers, so if you would be up for helping us opening and closing the toilets, then we would love to hear from you. It would be a really great way to get those steps in now that we are into the lighter evenings. You get out a walk and you could just swing past and give the Harbour Toilets either an open in the morning or a close in the evening. We would love to hear from you. Any other update on the toilets other than?
No, I think that's about it for the toilets, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're toilets, but they are open, and we know that they're very gratefully received. We get lots of donations. We're actually going to be, I am going to be putting out, looking for some advertising, because I've always had the plan that the toilets would be a little bit of an unofficial tourist information. So if you watch this space, then there might be some more information on that for some low cost advertising, because let's face it, where do you learn about things? In the back of the toilet door.
Yeah. And I guess it's worth pointing out, without putting pressure onto anybody, is the more volunteers and the more people that we have to get involved with things like the toilets and the shearing shed, the more offering we can give.
Yeah.
So the toilets might manage to open an hour or two later of an evening, or open for longer in the season. At the moment, we're doing the tourist sort of season, March to about September, October, making sure we're opening for the fireworks every year, of course. But the more people that we have getting stuck in and getting involved, the more we can offer. So give us a shout if you'd like to get involved. Next up, we have the Garden Open Day.
Yeah, so that is happening straight after the We Want Festival on the 1st of May. And I'm going to have forgotten the times, but there is definitely a Thurso Grows open day. We will record in the post what the opening times are, where they're having a barbecue, and I think they're going to be doing some flatbreads, possibly in the pizza oven, so all sorts of exciting things there, and you can learn about how you can get involved more with Thurso Grows.
Lovely. Helen's Posh Award. That is next on our list. So, not so long ago, I'm so back to front with my days, but last month, basically, in March, off we went to Strathpepper for the evening to celebrate the Highland Third Sector Interface Awards. So there was loads of lovely inspirational stories, people across Highland who are doing amazing things for their communities. One of those people was our very own Helen Allen, who won Trustee of the Year for the work that she does with Thurso Youth Club, and of course for ourselves. So it was really lovely to have her recognised for the work that she does, and see her celebrated within the peer group as well. It was really lovely.
Yeah, it was really lovely, really lovely.
So I think there was there's been several photographs of her actually, so if you have a look on our Facebook, you'll see her.
Yeah, and we managed to get a couple of gins out of it as well, so
Yes,
that's
we
always a
did.
good thing. Always a good thing.
Next up, we've got the community market starting again on the 16th of April.
Yeah, see, gazebos again. So yeah, 16th of April, and then every third Saturday of the month after that. So we'll just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. And we've got a few stands booked. We've still got spaces for stands. But yeah, same kind of deal as last year. Community market, lots of people out. Local crafters, local food producers. It's a really, really lovely day. And we certainly notice that it encourages quite a lot of footfall in the town centre, which is a great thing to happen, and one of the reasons why we do it as well.
So if anybody wanted to sign up for a stand, how do they do that?
So you just need to go onto the website. It's on the current website, and it will be there on the new website as well, whichever one you happen to land on, and you can book your stand there.
And we've only got the 16th open at the moment.
We have only got the 16th open at the moment. That's the deal, is that so that we can try and get a bit of variety. We didn't want anybody to come along and kind of book up every single market, because then we just wouldn't have any variety in it. So to encourage some variety, and so for some new people to come through as well, we will, as soon as we've had that market basically on the 16th of April, we'll reopen for bookings then again.
Yeah. And we are welcoming stand holders that might be crafters, but we're also looking for other things.
Yeah, so stand holders who are crafters, who are food producers. We'd love to see more food producers coming along, and we also always have a charity stand there. So any local groups, you don't have to be raising money, you don't have to be selling anything, you can just be raising awareness about what it is that you do.
Yeah. And
you get a stand free of charge in that case for the charities.
So maybe you're looking for volunteers like us. Maybe we could share volunteers.
Yeah.
Next up is socially growing. What have we got to say about socially
growing?
So
the shop is open, the shop is doing well. We are hoping to still keep on going with this refill revolution. One of the key things to possibly note is that our dried food was bought in January before the prices went up. So you might actually be grabbing yourself a bargain by coming in and shopping in socially growing. Plus, you can just buy what it is that you need. If you don't need a great big huge bag of something, just come and get what you want. I was actually sort of told this week that somebody came in to buy something that they needed for a recipe, and they just measured out exactly what it was that they needed for that recipe, rather than buying any more. It's a good way to shop.
Yeah.
We're still getting fresh veg and things like that we take in from McLeod Organics, but there is things growing in the greenhouses. So we will have our own microgreens soon, and we'll be able to have our own lettuce and things. We have also had January graduates working with us. They've done 2 weekends with us, just the weekend just passed, who have been doing a power of work in those greenhouses. There was lots of painting that went on at the weekend, and door scraping. You'll see there's no longer a green door there. It's now a metal door, but it's going to go back green again. So yeah, lots and lots of work going on over at the greenhouses. I should also add, and she stands and nods at me like, you forgot something, Joan. So, one of the key things about socially growing is, the reason for socially growing is to fulfill a need in the community. And for some of you, that need is to shop plastic free. That need is to have greater resilience in the local food system and for us to be growing more fruit and veg here, which are great. And they are also things that we identify are in need in the community. But actually what inspired socially growing in the first place was that we want to be able to offer opportunities to people, more specifically young people, but can be any age, for people who maybe have felt excluded from the mainstream, who have maybe fallen into hard times, who are experiencing mental health issues, who might be experiencing addiction issues, who might have got themselves into bother. We want to give people the opportunity through socially growing, through training, through support, through supporting them very holistically to access other services that they might be in need of, to get a second chance, to be able to do something and turn something around in their lives. But basically we want to be able to to offer people the opportunity that we will believe in them where maybe nobody else believes in them, and give them a chance. So to that end, a couple of weeks ago now, I took part in a Dragon's Den, really. They were much nicer than the dragons, I have to say, with the Highland Community Justice Partnership. And we've been awarded funding to be able to support people who are doing their community payback orders via both socially growing and via other activities that might be offered by the Trust. There's a significant body of evidence that suggests that where people do community payback hours with community organisations and as part of the community, there's a much greater, much less risk of them reoffending, not greater risk, less risk of them reoffending. So we will shortly, possibly even by the time we have this video going out, be recruiting for a support and training manager to be able to support those people who are coming to us with the community payback hours. And that will also kickstart the training that we will be able to offer to people. It's a really, really important thing. It's something that's been, certainly for me personally, I think has been really close to my heart, because I've done quite a lot of consultation with people who are in those kind of circumstances and that kind of predicament throughout the town. And I really believe that this will make a difference to a lot of people.
Yeah, and again, it's back to who are we and what do we want to deliver for the community. And we said way back when that we want to make Thurso a better place to live, work and visit. And we want to help make Thurso a better place to live for everybody. So we believe that this project will help us to do that. We look forward to telling you more about it. So that leads us on to, lastly, recruitment. So Joel's just mentioned that we will be recruiting shortly. Is there anything else, any other recruitment bits?
Yeah, so we also operate, because we're going forever tonight, the North Highlands and Islands Climate Hub, and we will be recruiting for a senior development officer for the North Highlands and Islands Climate Hub. The Climate Hub is still part of the Trust, but slightly separate from the Trust in that it's got that kind of regional remit, and we're also looking at for it. There'll be potentially another couple of posts coming up for it as well, for development officers that we're hoping to get more regional, because we're really trying to spread out so that we can sprinkle that community development, climate action magic throughout the rest of the region.
So once we have that all ironed out and all the recruitment in place, that will be available on our website, and we will also be sharing that on social media and all the other sort of local recruitment places. So keep your eyes peeled, and if you are particularly interested, then you're welcome to get in touch with us to discuss the roles and what might be involved and all that sorts of stuff. So I think that's us.
That's the list.
That's the list complete.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will be here now at least once a month. We might do a special Thurso show if there's something we want to particularly go into more detail on. But until the next month, what's this, April, so maybe start of May,
yeah,
we will be back, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.